embarrassing. Floyd, you're 50 years old. You're a legend in the sport. I've stood up for you in countless interviews, but you have to stop embarrassing yourself with these.
Well, I think what happened with Floyd is, and this is where he played it smart. You know, you have to give credit where credit is due. Floyd, after he beat me, if you notice, he became Money Mayweather.
Yes.
Well, he became a businessman.
$1 million fight, and you know, I've already in the sport of boxing, I've already made somewhere upwards of 800 million.
You made money. You're gonna make a hell of a lot more money.
But the main thing is, I made smart investments, and I still make millions every month.
Just Google Floyd's name and the IRS. All the news is out there. He owes jewelers money. There's back paid rent for real estate in New York. It's clear that he is now part of the no money team, which is very ironic. And why is he doing this?
No, I don't know. Normally, people that are well off don't go back into a sport as barbaric as boxing at 48, X, Y, and Z. That's not normal. But everything doesn't have to make sense to me. It just has to make sense.
Facing swirling rumors about a complete financial downfall, Oscar De La Hoya has finally spoken out regarding the Money Mayweather persona, accusing it of being a meticulously crafted image of prosperity. For years, fans admired the private jets, the diamond-covered watches, and the extravagant TBE lifestyle. Now, however, the Golden Boy suggests that the illusion may be starting to crack. Some observers are beginning to question whether the fighter who once produced more than $1 billion in revenue might actually be operating on borrowed time and borrowed money.
Why are they fighting again? Why would you fight again? Why is Money Mayweather, who has reportedly made up over $1 billion. Now, that doesn't mean you're bringing it all home. That's not net. That is just in terms of revenue, in terms of the gates. The last fight between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather made $668 million. Where reportedly Floyd Mayweather took home, what, 250 of that? So why is he fighting again, everybody says? Boy, people just telling themselves, why would you fight again if you made all that money? Because that means that people don't really want to fight, right? First thing first, we know that at the bottom of the pecking order, the bottom of all the athletic pyramid of success is fighting, right? UFC, boxing, that's the bottom of the barrel. That's the chitlin circuit. Like if you doing that, either A, your daddy was a fighter, or B, boy, you fighting for your life and your circumstances in this world. So few affluent fighters. Like, oh, we have wealth, we have money, we have success. So few just upper middle class fighters. Like, dog, you gotta be from it, the mud. So we all are telling ourselves when we see somebody fight, like, why are you fighting? Oh. So now we're going to the financial, and obviously there are a lot of reports out there that talks about his money. Now, what it doesn't say, it talks about his debt, it talks about some of his liabilities. What it doesn't tell you is his liquidity. What it doesn't tell you is what he has. Now, you don't know what he has. You can guess this. You can say he has these assets over here that aren't liquid. You can say he has this ownership over here. And then you don't know which way to go back and forth. So the guesswork to you and for me, it's not really the best play because it's not going to be fully informed. It's just like going to somebody's website right now and you going to see celebrity net worth. That's not true. Trust me. I've not met one person that their celebrity net worth is real. Like sometimes it's way higher, sometimes it's way lower.
During a TMZ interview, Oscar De La Hoya spoke bluntly about Floyd Mayweather's exhibition bouts and his push to return for a rematch, claiming the move is driven by financial need. He argued that Mayweather is pursuing another fight with Manny Pacquiao because he has run out of money and urgently needs a major payday. De La Hoya went as far as labeling Mayweather a lowlife and a fraud, insisting that Floyd is chasing a lucrative matchup simply to remain financially stable now that exhibition fights are no longer bringing in the same level of income.
You think he's talking this trash because he wants a rematch? Do you think he actually wants
Absolutely.
You think he wants a rematch?
Look, another reason why he's crawled out of his rock, he needs money.
You think he needs money?
Absolutely.
He's always flossy.
It's absolutely, he needs money.
You think he's going
Once
broke?
again, come on. Fighters like that always go broke.
He's always spending, so I guess.
Absolutely. Look, he's not fighting anymore, so that big money's not coming in. Look at what happened to Mike Tyson. He made what, $500 million?
Right.
You think you can spend $500 million overnight? Absolutely.
You can't.
I doubt he'll ever step into that ring. Floyd's a big freaking.
He called Canelo the easiest win of his career.
Yeah, because he was 21 years old.
Right.
Of course. If I fought Ryan Garcia, who's 19 years old, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna beat him easy because of my experience.
So fight him in his prime, he goes down, you think?
Easy.
What's your message to Floyd?
Floyd, stay under your rock, dude.
This perspective suggests that the lavish image Floyd projects while flaunting billions may have functioned more as a survival tactic than a true reflection of his finances. De La Hoya argues that the wealthy persona served mainly as a marketing strategy meant to keep fans paying to watch him lose. According to him, the approach worked extremely well, at least until the heavy costs of maintaining that lifestyle started to exceed the real income coming in.
Never flies commercial. He's only flying private.
So he doesn't own his own plane?
I don't think so. I've never seen a Mayweather plane, like a Drake plane. I've never seen that. Not to say that he doesn't. I don't know Mayweather like that. I've never even met him. So I don't know. I mean, you have a lot of properties. You have a lot of money you're constantly spending.
Right.
I don't know. Remember at one point he said he was buying like the jewelry district building.
Yeah, and they said
that wasn't true.
Was yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know this man's finances, but this guy told me that Mayweather is in financial problems.
See, here's the shitty part about actually losing your money when you're on that level and you're, kind of like flossing and showing off. Nobody gives a shit. Like there are people actually praying for you to be broke. And then when you do go broke, that's what people are going to say. Yeah. Oh, well, you should have invested better. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to give him any loans. So now, we might see Mayweather doing...
People will give him some loans.
Maybe.
Listen, he's cozying up to Israel. That's
but the thing about it is, he had Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
And he was hosting a big, he had Gervonta Davis under his cars. And so that's a
yeah, but look what happened to Gervonta.
Right.
Arrested,
so if you can sustain that, you don't ever have to box again. But now has to take fights because, when you floss like Mayweather, you can't go down.
Yeah.
You got to stay right there because people are going to beat any kind of chinks in your armor if you're not wearing 3 or 4 big $1 million diamond chains.
Recently surfaced legal filings have placed Mayweather under pressure in a major lawsuit from a well-known Miami jeweler, fueling speculation that his available cash may be running thin. Court records submitted in early 2026 claim that Floyd failed to pay a local retailer more than $1.3 million following a lavish purchase involving 26 high-end watches and 15 gold chains. Reports have also mentioned bounced checks and unsuccessful wire transfers, developments that have pushed the dispute into the legal system and raised fresh questions about the finances of the man long known for his flashy jewelry and wealth.
Floyd Mayweather is the one that seems like he needs the money more right now. Our guy, Andreas Hale, wrote a story that is kind of went somewhat viral. That's crazy, the laugh faces. Although Floyd Mayweather Jr. made hundreds of millions of dollars from his professional boxing career and topped the Forbes list as the highest paid athlete from 2012 to 2014, the boxer is said to have been shortchanged and filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Showtime. The lawsuit filed Tuesday, and obtained by ESPN seeks to recover hundreds of millions of dollars, misappropriated funds, and damages resulting from a long-running and elaborate scheme of financial fraud, breaches in fiduciary duty, and conspiracy orchestrated by Floyd J. Mayweather's former manager and advisor, Al Heyman, with the knowing and substantial participation and aid of defendants Showtime Networks and Steven Espinoza. Mayweather, who's 48, says he is owed at least $340 million and cites a complex web of hidden accounts, unauthorized transactions, and deliberate concealment of financial records as the reason he believes he's been defrauded from those funds. Heyman is not named as a defendant in the complaint, which is interesting because I spoke and said he sued Al Heyman. He's essentially saying that Showtime and Al Heyman colluded to not pay him with Steven Espinoza, but then he doesn't name Heyman in the suit. Very odd. Anyway, it's a mess, and for those people that always thought that Floyd Mayweather had financial troubles because of the money he owed to the IRS, because of the terrible, terrible business and real estate investments that he's made, and apparently some of these have gone under, and he is owed back rent, or he is owing back rent, and he is delinquent on a lot of payments for a lot of different things right now. These things seem to have added up for Floyd, and now it's pretty apparent that not only is he doing these, bank robbery style exhibitions, but it looks like he absolutely needs to do it, which is very, very sad. Listen, I'm not the biggest fan of Floyd Mayweather as an individual outside of the ring, but I never want to see athletes have their money mismanaged or mismanage their own money so badly that they go broke in retirement, and it looks like that's kind of what's happening. And here's a snippet from Business Insider because it made me want to pay for the entire article. Business Insider is reporting that Floyd Mayweather could be facing money trouble, citing an estimated $54 million in debt, property foreclosures, multiple lawsuits piling up. Mayweather's attorney strongly denies he's in any kind of financial distress, but the headlines aren't slowing down. $54 million alleged dollars in debt. So it makes sense why they would want to do this.
When someone who claims billionaire status ends up in court over an unpaid $1 million jewelry bill, it raises serious concerns that the boxing world can't easily overlook. Insiders within the industry suggest that although Floyd may still own significant real estate assets, a shortage of accessible cash could be pushing him into a difficult position, one where he might have to part with valuable possessions or step back into the ring to secure another major payday.
Maybe more.
How does he owe you the money? Why don't you just
Here's what happened. He pre-sold the fight using my likeness to some company in, I think, Dubai or the Middle East. This is my understanding of it, for $10 million cash. We ended up doing the fight in the States with a different company. That is the company that put on the fight. That is the company that paid me. But he sold our fight with my name and likeness to someone else in Dubai for $10 million cash. It's our fight, bro. Our deal was 15%. He smoked me. So I got 15% of it. 15% of $10 million is $1.5 million. That company that paid him that money is suing him. I actually don't know the status on that lawsuit. I should check in because he still owes me money, but he has a bunch of legal trouble at the moment that I don't think I'm ever getting the money.
He just sold his house in Vegas.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I think he's facing a bunch.
Rinsed on that house. He started at $14 million.
Claiming he wants to defend the integrity of the sport, Oscar De La Hoya recently criticized Floyd's ongoing exhibition tour, calling it a humiliating and desperate attempt to chase quick money that undermines his 50-0 legacy. The Golden Boy has been outspoken during his Clapback Thursday segments, taking direct shots at what he described as the spectacle involving Tyson and the talk of a Pacquiao rematch. Some analysts believe these appearances aren't being staged for fans at all, but rather to satisfy mounting financial obligations.
Having the refs do whatever he wants, and he wasn't getting his way this time. It was so embarrassing. Floyd, you're 50 years old. You're a legend in the sport. I've stood up for you in countless interviews, including Shannon Sharp's podcast last week. But you have to stop embarrassing yourself with these exhibitions. I know life is hard. I know life is expensive. But come on, dude, put your legacy first. Nobody wants to remember you like this. And it gets worse. Your jeweler filed a lawsuit against you in Miami. And many are saying you're gonna have to sell off your assets. I hate seeing this happen, bro. As I've always said, it's hard to make money, but it's even harder to keep it. Floyd, I'm rooting for you. Come on, let's turn it around.
If Floyd were truly the TBE when it comes to business, critics argue he wouldn't be changing referees mid-round or appearing in front of half-filled venues in Mexico simply to keep the revenue flowing. Many observers see the shift from dominant pay-per-view superstar to exhibition fighter as one of the clearest signals that serious financial trouble could be approaching. The pressure increased when his former close ally 50 Cent took aim as well, briefly posting a harsh claim online that the champion is broke and forced to keep fighting indefinitely before deleting it. The G-Unit mogul, who once had a role in Mayweather's promotional ventures, has continued pushing the narrative, even suggesting that Floyd's widely publicized New York real estate deals may be little more than publicity moves without documented ownership behind them.
Let's Get Floyd Back in Pocket campaign that goes on, where, it's $300,000 chains being bought and buying the new Lamborghini and all these new things, and I'm sitting there going, yo, when you gonna give me the money?
Because you're already invested.
Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail, right? So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardlessly. Right. So I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he going to say he wants to, to give me the other half of it? Why I got to ask you for it?
Right.
And then when
are we talking over $2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the actual, the situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell y'all to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
Oh, man.
And I'm looking at him, and he looked in my face, and he told me to do that.
How did it get to where we started reading just the tweets? Because it seemed like that. Like, I would think that y'all could pick up the phone and say, "Hey, man, you know what's going down here," as opposed to, you know, I respect the shooter and fuck boys and you know what I'm saying.
That's not Floyd. Floyd don't tweet.
Wow.
That's not him on Instagram. He got somebody next to him. See, everybody around him's codependent. So they're going to roll with what he said.
The tension between 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather has long revolved around financial disputes. Now, with reports surfacing about a $340 million fraud allegation tied to former associates along with a legal battle involving Showtime, critics say the once dominant money team appears to be facing serious instability.
February 3rd, 2026, Floyd Mayweather filed a lawsuit in California against Showtime Networks and Steven Espinoza, claiming they helped his former advisor, Al Heyman, misappropriate a huge chunk of his fight earnings to the tune of $340 million. Mayweather says the money is still missing and unaccounted for, and he's now suing Showtime and Espinoza for aiding and abetting breach of fiduciary duty, civil conspiracy to commit fraud. Ooh, that's a serious accusation there. Conversion, unjust enrichment, and he's seeking punitive damage on top of the missing $340 million. So why is Floyd suing him and what is he claiming? Well, Floyd argues that during his legendary career, where he generated $1 billion in revenue plus and pay-per-view money, a significant portion of the funds that he made through those events, through his fights, didn't make it into his hands because they were funneled through accounts controlled by his then advisor, Al Heyman. Now, Mayweather says that Showtime delivered those checks and funds through systems that helped Heyman get the money instead of paying Floyd directly. The lawsuit also points to some of boxing's biggest pay-per-view fights, including fights against Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, events that generated hundreds of millions in revenue. Mayweather's legal team said he generated hundreds of millions in revenue for Showtime and now wants to recover what he claims was unfairly taken.
When pressed by combat sports veteran Chael Sonnen, the story of Floyd's savvy investments began to unravel. Sonnen, famous for his brash style and sharp commentary, argues that the undefeated icon has depleted his wealth more quickly than he accumulated it, falling into the familiar athlete trap of extravagant spending paired with low-return investments.
Attempting to tease Floyd. Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. I don't tease him for it. He was a guy who grew up in a boxing gym, right? It's one of these things. You know what you know. You know what you were taught. I didn't teach him about contracts. I didn't teach him about saving. I didn't teach him about investments. Who would have taught him these things? Of course he's broke. He's a gambling addict. He got baby mamas all over the... What do you mean is he broke? Of course he's broke. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question.
Sonnen's viewpoint brings a stark dose of reality, suggesting that in the high-stakes world of boxing promotion, figures are often exaggerated to protect a brand image. If the IRS is calling and jewelers are taking legal action, even the so-called smartest businessman in sports could be confronting serious threats to his financial legacy.
I've told you until I'm blue in the face, the numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. Whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time is just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company. Who is the one that supplies the pay-per-view? It is illegal for them to lie. You have never heard Time Warner. You've never heard Cox. You've never heard DirecTV. You have never heard an executive come out and confirm any of the absurd pay-per-view numbers that you believe to be true. And it's the same thing with the check. I got $100 million for a fight. Oh, you did? Who signed the check? Whoever signed the check is going to want credit for it. There's never been a time that $1 million check was written and the dude that wrote the check didn't make sure that somebody found out he wrote the check. So who wrote the check? Floyd's got a whole bunch of them, apparently. He got $1 billion. Who wrote the check? And I'm only sharing with you, like, the numbers aren't what you think they are, right? The numbers are good, and they made a lot of money, but it's not what you think it is. And, yeah, of course Floyd's broke. Would you be boxing if you weren't? And it's very tough to be sympathetic to Floyd. So Floyd is arguing that he was robbed by Showtime. That he had a deal that Showtime didn't argue. He's arguing this. And who's making that argument and where that goes? I'm just sharing, like, in public opinion, it's very hard to be sympathetic towards Floyd when Floyd, as a promoter...
This situation goes beyond boxing. It's about control of the market. Oscar De La Hoya suggests that Floyd's sudden return to active promotion and his constant presence around younger, wealthy fighters is a desperate, predatory move born out of necessity. Confronting the realities of aging and a body under strain, De La Hoya delivers a stark warning to his former rival. The sport eventually takes everything back, including the money. He cites his own career-ending loss to Manny Pacquiao as a cautionary example for those who fail to know when to step away. If Floyd continues chasing exhibition paydays to resolve financial issues, he risks far more than his bank account. He risks lasting health consequences. The tragedy of the money persona is that it demands a never-ending flow of cash, and at nearly 50, that flow is becoming an increasingly dangerous gamble.
How much money could you reasonably walk out of this fight with?
350 million.
$350 million.
Yes.
Wow. I know you love money, right? I mean,
it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
How did you get the nickname Money? Did you name yourself Money, or was somebody else?
They just started calling me it.
They just started calling it. You always have a lot of money with you.
A little bit.
Yeah. I have a picture of, this is from Instagram. You're on what looks like a private plane, just with a whole...
No, my private plane.
Your private plane, sorry. With a whole lot of money, and it looks like a couple of bowls of ketchup, maybe, also.
No.
Are you eating this money?
Those are cup holders.
Oh, those are cup holders, okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have a private plane.
You didn't flew on me.
What do you do with all this money? I mean, like, do you actually use it? I mean, are you using the cash?
And, you know, cash is king.
Do you have an ATM card?
I'm the human ATM.
How do you even get this much money? What do you do?
Work hard.
I know that. But, like, do you go to the bank and say, I need all of it? I want all of the money in your bank.
No, that's not what you do. You order it. You can order it.
Oh, you can?
And when you order a certain amount, when you order millions of dollars, a Brinks truck comes to your home.
Wow.
Yes.
Why not just drive around in one of those things?
I did have, at one particular time, I had a Brinks truck.
You did?
I sold it. Yeah.
Who'd you sell that to?
Another guy who loved money.
Another guy who loved money.
With mounting evidence of financial mismanagement and multiple lawsuits, the boxing community is split. Is Floyd Mayweather truly still the king of money, or has he become just another legend struggling to cover the bills? Between Oscar De La Hoya's blunt revelations, 50 Cent's pointed trolling, and the very real court cases unfolding in Miami, the billionaire image is under intense scrutiny. Now it's your turn. Do you think De La Hoya and 50 Cent are revealing the truth, or is Floyd simply playing the ultimate heel to boost ticket sales for his next exhibition? Is Money Mayweather officially broke, or does he remain the smartest man in the room? Share your thoughts in the comments below. That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss our upcoming content. Don't forget to leave your opinions in the comment section, and stay tuned for the next video.